Hey, Cyclone fans, we want to welcome you to another Cyclone Game Center sponsored by our friends at Kingland Systems. They've done a great job presenting us with some classic games, and we've got one that definitely falls into that category today. We're going to show you the 2000 Big 12 Women's Basketball Championship game from Municipal Auditorium in Kansas City. And we have joining us today Coach Bill Fenley. Coach, how are you?
Good, John.
Good. Thanks for doing this. Appreciate you being a part of it. And then we also have a couple of Hall of Famers with us today. Stacy Freeze is joining us. Hi, Stacy.
Hello. It's good to be here.
Awesome to have you here. And Angie Welly as well, joining us from North Dakota. Hi, Angie.
Hey, fun to join.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we're going to roll this video, and I want you guys to just go ahead and talk, set the stage of kind of what this tournament, this game, this season was all about.
You know what? It was funny when we got invited to do this. I honestly didn't remember the game. I mean, I know we won, but I didn't remember any details about it. But then it was really fun to listen to. I mean, I didn't realize we'd played them 10 days before, and I actually forgot we won the conference championship or tied for that. So I watched it a couple times. It was fun, but awkward, but really fun to watch.
Yeah, it was kind of the exact same way. I emailed back and I was like, does anyone have a copy of the game? Because that was a long time ago. So, but it was. I forwarded it to my parents because I was like, especially right now, people need things to do. So, yeah, it was fun to watch.
I always go back to, Coach Fenley always tells us you're not going to remember games, you're going to remember moments. And this is this was like the perfect scenario. I don't know the game. I know Des got sick. I know Erica Haugen broke her nose at Texas before that, but I don't remember details about the game at all until I watched it. So, Coach Fenley, you were right.
Yeah. Oh, hey, mark that down, John. I was right about something. I think the big thing for me right off the bat, John, is look at the crowd.
Yes.
Iowa State fans were just incredible. I think this is the weekend maybe Hilton South got maybe its name with us and the guys winning the next day. And this team right here might be, and I know I'm prejudiced, but this might be one of the best Iowa State teams in any sport. When you look at, the players on the court, and players coming off the bench, and when you play a game like this, the way this team played all year, this is not any different than they played all year, and played a great game at a great time.
Got 3 Hall of Famers on the floor for you, Coach, including Megan Taylor, who just hit that 3. And then here's what Angie did so well: run the floor.
No better player in the country, maybe ever, that like Angie could run. She always joked, but all I could do is run and make layups. Well, she did it for about 2,400 points. So, and I think Stacy started. We've been blessed to have a lot of great point guards here, and that started with Stacy. The way she ran this team. It literally was like I just kind of tried to stay in my lane, let her run this team. And we had a lot of great players, a lot of great people that played well together. Des, obviously, for only 2 years, really impacted our team, kind of brought us together at the right time.
Yeah, Des had a great game, and she was sick, right, guys?
Des, she would eat a different pregame meal than the rest of us. So I think she, something didn't settle quite right for her.
You never would have guessed it by watching her play. She had a great game.
I also remember, too, I'm like, I think this is the year she broke, I don't know, Coach, she broke her arm or broke her hand or something.
She didn't play at Texas.
Cast
right,
she broke her hand.
Yeah,
and she went. I think she actually somehow took a fast flight back to Antigua over the holidays, and she swears that Caribbean water kind of self-soothed it. And she came back and had a heck of an end to her season.
Look at how you guys attacked.
Yeah,
I
think when I watched it, the biggest thing I got out of it was hard, I think, to guard us because we just would run, and then everyone could shoot. And, if they guarded one of us, someone else would step up and do it. So I think we've always said that we were such just a team, and it made all the difference.
And you just touched on something, Stacy, that's huge. And Bill, I think you were way ahead of your time on this because you see teams that are built like this today where everybody on the floor can shoot the 3 or wants to shoot the 3. Nobody was doing that back then, but you guys were built that way.
Yeah, we were, John. And luckily, we had Angie running down the middle and posting up, and we spread the court. And you want to double team Angie, fine. Then someone's going to shoot the three. And if you want to, play her one-on-one, she's going to score on you all night, every night. And that was the nature of our team. You look at this team, John. Angie's the all-time leading scorer. Lindsey Wilson off the bench, third leading scorer. Megan, number 4. Stacy, 11, and only played 3 years. Oh, and by the way, we still had Tracy Gahan and Des. So if we didn't win, I probably would have got fired. We had 2 good players.
And Erica Haugen and Erica Juneau and Monica Hulman. And, I mean, like you said, the bench players here are something special, too.
I think – go ahead, Coach Finley.
Go,
I just think it was I think – to think there's 3 Hall of Famers. I don't know how there were enough shots to go around for everybody to score that many points, but just how unselfish we were. I mean, you can see it. I think we all felt it when we were playing, but to watch it, like, we were just excited for Tracy Gahan to score as it was Stacy, or nobody cared who scored. Nobody cared whose play got called. It just, we wanted to win, and I guess it was probably the most unselfish, cohesive group I've ever played on.
Yeah. I think we all wanted Tracy to score, so she would actually shoot the ball, right?
And she was the Swiss Army knife.
That's an inside joke, John, about Tracy.
I remember she said she told me she used to lecture her to shoot it, but she was the Swiss Army knife for your team. She did everything and made everybody on the floor better.
Yeah, she did, and she fit this team perfectly because. With Stacy, Angie, and Megan, we had 3 of the best players in the country, and we could move Tracy anywhere we needed her to. And then you add Des to that. So the versatility of our team, the way they played together, the way they played off of each other, a lot of this stuff, we didn't have as many plays as we do now because they knew how to play and they knew what each other could do and wanted to do. And so much of it was instinctive, and a lot of it was because they cared a lot about each other. They still do. I mean, this game's 20 years ago, and Stacy, Angie, all these guys are still connected. So you see it in this game, but that's the way they lived their life. That's the way they were raised. And we were, Iowa State fans, and certainly myself, were the benefits of it.
This game is funny too. It shows like what you remember how everybody played. There's a point in there where Stacy does a step back 2-pointer in about 0.2 seconds. Megan chucks up a 3 and misses it and gets her own rebound on the other side of the court. I make a wide layup running the court. Tracy, this is a great game because it just showed everybody's style of basketball, which was kind of fun.
Hey guys, we're going to listen in for a minute to the halftime interview because you're up by 10 at the half, and they caught up with Coach Finley down on the floor here. And so look at all those Iowa State fans, man. It was awesome. And let's listen into the announcers as they talk to Coach Finley.
31-21 at the break. Texas shooting just 26% from the floor. Let's go to Tammy Blackburn with Bill Finley.
Bill, your team came out very relaxed, very focused. They played 20 minutes of good basketball.
Yeah, we did play pretty well. Offensively, we had a couple good looks we missed, but both teams are really guarding very well. It's every possession seems to be a real chore, so you got to guard until you make some shots. And defensively, we were pretty good in the first half.
Only 20 minutes left to a possible championship. What do you tell your team at halftime?
Exactly that. 20 minutes and you win a championship. You don't have this chance many times in your life, and hopefully we'll play hard and finish it.
Good luck, Bill.
Thanks, Tammy.
Bill?
Thank you, Ted.
That's back when you had a voice, Bill.
Yeah. Yeah, and hair that wasn't gray.
So there's Desiree.
With a different number on.
Yeah, different number, different feeling in her stomach now compared to a few minutes earlier. But man, look at the play by Tracy. And off you guys go. You pick up right where you left off. There's Mo.
Yep. There's our girl Mo.
Yeah. Yeah, she did. She kind of had come off the bench in this game and hadn't even played that much, and then she just comes out and hits a 3, right on cue.
You guys really didn't let up. I mean, you ended up building the lead all the way up to 24, and your team had been doing that. You had been really dominating teams in this tournament and really going back even into the regular season.
Yeah, John, we got beat. We lost 2 games in a row in February. We lost at Kansas State, and we lost to Kansas at home, the only game we lost all year. And then these guys just exploded. We won 6 games in a row by 30 points. You add this tournament, we won 9 games in a row by 25-plus points. So they put it in a whole nother gear, and they played at an amazing level.
Angie, we saw one of your variety of moves there. You had every trick in the book on the block. Where did you learn all those post moves?
Coach Abe and Coach Pinchton. I to this day, I guess I'm like convinced that post players, you don't have to have a lot of post moves. You just have to have really good footwork. And I feel like that's kind of what they taught me when I was there. And I always tried to make myself available, and so the guards could have an easy pass into the post, I guess. That time I did use my right hand, which was very rare. I didn't use my right hand very much.
Stacy, what do you remember about playing with Angie, about how the variety of ways she could score?
I just remember, I would get the outlet and I'd just look up the court and there she would be. So it was easy. I'd get it, throw it up, and we'd get 2 points. So she definitely made it easy on the rest of us. And she was always, she was a big target. If she was down on the block right there, you can see her. She, get big, so it's easy to get the pass into her.
Throw her the ball.
Yes, I know. Sometimes it takes a little bit. We were trying.
All right, Angie, your turn to talk about Stacy and what a special player she was.
You know what? I've been wanting to say it. Stacy, that charge they called on you at the very beginning of the game, that was not a charge. I still am not.
I was like that. I was drawing the foul. Come on.
Stacy's like 90 pounds.
Yes.
That's what you think about. You saw her, obviously at the beginning of the game, we didn't see that clip, but she would get just mauled every time she tried to take a drive to the basket. You see her dive on the ground. I don't know how she probably could shoot threes like Curry. I don't know. It just was. What's your 12 threes in the game? She just was. You knew if the ball was up. I get you would be surprised if it didn't go in. To be honest, when she shot it, you were more surprised if it didn't go in than because you expected it to make every time she shot it. But to reiterate to what Coach, that one, there's the 3-point play. That's the one I was talking. There's my dad in the red.
Oh, nice. Yeah, this crowd was incredible.
They were awesome.
Commissioner Wyberg, thank you so much for joining us.
And Bill, when we watch this team on the offensive end, they're so active. Everybody's moving without the ball. They played with such a confidence about them. I loved it.
Yeah, they did. And John, they were all skilled. They all played hard. And like Stacy said, they play off of each other. They shared the ball. The way we played, everyone's going to get to shoot it. So no one was worried about it. But we just wanted to play as fast as we could play. And they just figured out a way to make it. And in this game, Texas was not a great shooting team. So you can tell we have 5 white jerseys about 6 feet from the basket. We're going to let them shoot it and rebound it and get going. And I thought the second half, at least for 15 minutes, we may have never, ever played better here. You got a 10-point lead, and we just obliterated them for about 15 minutes, and it was just one person after another. It was really a fun atmosphere for our kids, and they did an amazing job.
And you guys did a great job on Edwina Brown, who's a very good player in this game.
Yeah, I think Coach, obviously, he's always really good with the game plan. And, I think she averaged it was like 22 points a game. I think at halftime she had like 2. So, and we were just, playing to her weaknesses, making her do things she didn't want to do. And it definitely worked.
And I think, John, the thing that brought our team some confidence is we beat them at Texas on senior night to clinch the first, and we had to finish the game really well. And I think our kids had an amazing sense of confidence. We'd been playing so well, and I don't think any team in the country wanted to play these guys in this game on that night.
Oh God! Don't shoot it!
That's what I was saying.
But again,
it's funny how when you play it, you don't get goosebumps, but when you watch it, now I have goosebumps watching the game.
There it is, the new tournament record for attendance, over 9,000. And I love those guys, man. I love those guys that have showed up in the referee jerseys for every game. Wonder what they're doing now.
They might still have their shirts on.
One of them's Ashley. Isn't one of them Ashley's husband on the left?
Yeah.
We had a player marry one of them.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Good hustle.
Nice.
Again.
But see, John, there's a play right there. We don't make a great pass. Some teams would let that ball go out of bounds. We out-hustle them to the ball, and we end up with 3 points. You know, that's what great teams do. It doesn't get noticed in a 20-point game, but that's what happened every single day with these guys, and that's why they were so good and did the things they needed to do.
And not conceding anything, that's for sure.
Do you think we could still hang with the players, the teams this now, Coach Friendly, and still play a 2-3 zone?
Yeah, we can play whatever you want to play.
I wonder if we can still get away with the 2-3 zone or not.
Hey, believe me, if the way you guys can score, we can play whatever you want to play. And it'd be a mismatch.
Angie, we're going to see the always exciting free throws from you here, but it's always been a staple of Coach Fenley's teams. You're going to make your free throws, and you shot over 80%.
Did I? Awesome.
Yeah.
I said I either went like 9 for 10 in every game, or I went 3 for 10. If I made my first one, it's funny, I was never a confident free throw shooter for how many of them I shot. I don't know.
Well, maybe that was just in the tournament. That stat I saw might have been just in the tournament, but you sure shot them all down.
We're going to go with all year, all my career. We're going to run with it.
We'll just run with it. But that was a strength of this team, a strength of so many teams that Bill had.
Well, we practiced them a lot in practice, so.
This is another example of the Angie Welly bag of tricks here on the block.
Lacking a little bit of confidence, and this should certainly help her out, putting on a great performance.
You know, the great post players, John, they always talk about do the work before you get the ball. No one did it better than Angie. She was patient. She waited for the play to happen. And, our kids knew that she was going to be open at some point. And when she did, they got her the ball. And obviously, when you score like that, I mean, it's just and then again, the best play, all-time leading scorer passes the ball. Most kids would just shoot that, force it, share the ball, make shots.
I think we're going to have a shot here, Coach, of your all-time best recruit coming up. As you've referenced her many times. There she is.
Yeah, they interviewed her, and I showed it to her the other day, and she's like, oh, my God.
That's what we were all saying about ourselves.
The first lady of women's basketball is pretty important. I don't care what her hair looks like.
That's another thing about Stacy. I don't even know how many minutes you average a game. I mean, what are you, 92 pounds, and she could play 40 minutes every game, getting beat up the whole way up the court. So pretty remarkable.
And back then, John, we didn't have a 10-second clock in the backcourt, so we would just give Stacy the ball and say, dribble in the backcourt for a while, dribble in the front court for a while, whatever she wanted to do.
Oh, nice, Stacy.
Stacy, must have been fun when you had options around you on the floor like that, because, as a point guard, when everybody on the floor can score, it makes your job a little bit easier.
Definitely. Yep. Always had a target. So my sisters.
Here come the starters out, and you guys got up by 24. I think they went on like a 15-1 run to end the game. But like I said, you beat Oklahoma State by 35 in this tournament. You beat Nebraska by 37. You're up 24 in the championship game on Texas. So it was a dominant team. And after winning the regular season championship, followed up with the tournament championship, that's pretty special.
Yeah, it was. This team deserved it. We've all been around teams that didn't do this or didn't do that, but this team deserved this, and they earned it. And to their credit, they finished it from, the last 3 weeks of the season. They played at an amazing level, and this game really showed it.
Oh my God, I'm a horrible dad. What is going on?
I think all three of you got interviewed on the floor. All three of you guys got interviewed on the floor after the game. And so we're going to listen into that, and then we'll come back and wrap things up here. So let's listen in.
Get into the championship game. They headed on down the street and partied hardy here as Iowa State did not disappoint, winning the Big 12 Women's Tournament title by 10, 75-65 over Texas, although they led by 24, in case you just joined us. And let's go out to Brenda Van Langen with the head coach, Bill Fenley.
Well, Bill, expectations were high this year, and you built it all the way through to the Big 12 championship. Tell me what you're feeling right now.
Well, Brent, it's really hard to describe. I'm so proud of our players. We beat a very good team tonight, and when you're expected to win and you still do it, it means a lot to our players. They showed a lot of maturity all year, and it's great for our fans. Obviously, an unbelievable crowd, and hopefully our guys can win tomorrow.
And you talked about today in practice, this is why you have this type of system for this kind of game today. You had well-balanced scoring, but your defense was just tremendous.
I think in this tournament, Brenda, we don't get a lot of credit for our defense because of our offense, but I thought defensively we were really solid for 3 games, and I think that's why we won the tournament.
I think so too. Congratulations, Bill. And now over to Tammy Blackburn with a couple of the Iowa State players.
All right, I'm with Stacy Freese and Angie Welly. Congratulations on a well-deserved championship, the first ever Big 12 Conference Tournament championship for any sport in your history. Do you understand what you've just accomplished?
I think it's huge. I mean, we've had so much fun this year. We've really come together as a team, and everybody, tonight was a team win. Everybody contributed, everybody did something, so it was that much more fun.
Angie, what does this mean in terms of adrenaline for going into the NCAA tournament?
It's unreal. It gives us so much momentum, I think, going into the tournament. We had so much fan support. It was unreal. I mean, I think that were the difference in the whole tournament. I think we just had so many fans all the time. So.
Congratulations to you both and to the Iowa State squad. Thank you. Bill, back to you.
Thank you, Tammy. Congratulations.
Well, that is really cool to hear those comments immediately after the game, and they kind of echo what you guys have been talking about here today. But, Stacey, you've talked about the chemistry of this team was so good. Everybody understood their roles. Everybody wanted the other player to have success. And when you get that magical chemistry, it's so rare for it to click like it did for this team.
Definitely. I think, however many more years later it's been, I think you talk to any of us and the things we remember, our pickup games at State Gym and, just all the off the court things that brought us together. That's, those are the things that we remember. And like Angie said, we remember, winning the championship, but not all those specifics. It's the little things that, made the difference. And that's what made us such a good team.
And Angie, I think what struck me about what you said there in that post-game interview is just acknowledging what a difference the fans made. And that was a season where you guys averaged over 10,000 fans a game. And when you think about where the attendance was 5 years earlier when Coach Fenley came in to that, unbelievable. And so this is a team that Iowa State fans really started to fall in love with Iowa State women's basketball right around this time.
Yeah, I think, and when you say 10,000 fans a game, that's 10,000 butts in the seat. That's just not tickets sold. And so I think that's a big, it is, even watching that and watching the interviews at the end and seeing all that. I mean, that's what you remember. You remember getting off the bus and walking through the Crowne Plaza or whatever the hotel, and it would just be packed with your band and your parents and fans. I mean, that's, I always say it's on my bucket list to go to the Big 12 tournament in Kansas City as a fan sometime.
You're going to get that opportunity, and that's the good news. Bill, this has to bring back a lot of good memories for you, just to see these players out there on the floor again, and then to have the opportunity to visit with Stacy and Angie and talk about it. But what a special team.
Yeah, John, I don't know. And again, I know I'm prejudiced, but when you start listing truly one of the greatest teams in any sport at Iowa State, this team's got to be on the list. What they did, how they did it, the character they did it with, the way they committed to each other. Even those interviews, you credit your teammates, you credit your fans. every one of them could have taken more credit than they did. I still remember it was only my 5th year. I told Deb, I go, I should quit because it'll never get any better. And it hasn't gotten better. I'm glad I didn't quit, but it hasn't gotten better. That's one of the greatest seasons of my life, and I'll never forget it for what those guys did for us and for our school. And it changed a lot of people's lives. It certainly changed mine, and they're some of the best people I've ever been around, and not alone, and they can play a little bit too.
It hasn't gotten better. It's just continued to be great. That's what it's been. And it continues to be great. And I think, guys, just to get one more quick comment from each of you, that's what's so special about the Iowa State women's basketball culture, is that last day that you wear that uniform is not the last day that you're a part of the program. You guys to this day are very much a part of this program.
Yeah, I mean, you credit Coach Fenley for that, obviously. They bring us back. They still include us in a lot of things. And, I mean, I know it's a broken record, but, my best friends are still my teammates. We just so much in common, and just being around each other and in all those situations, it's a lifelong thing.
Same for you, Ange?
Yeah, I guess hopefully whenever Coach Fenley decides to retire, they let him be on the hiring committee to follow in his footsteps, because I think he is the reason. I mean, he, like you said, he includes us, and we're 20 years removed from them. And it just, I think that's a huge part of it, but it's the culture that's been created at Iowa State. I think we have teammates from Iowa, Texas, Antigua, Minnesota, Washington, I mean, all over it, and you put us together by chance. And when you see, when you buy into what we're trying to do there at Iowa State, it was, it's the highlight of my life, to be honest.
Awesome. You guys, it's been so much fun having you on here. We really appreciate Kingland Systems doing this, because these have been a blast for me to be involved in. I've enjoyed the heck out of them, and this one was special. So you guys, thank you so much for being a part of it. Really appreciate you.
Thank you, guys. Love you guys.
Yeah.
Go Cyclones.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thanks.